Hey, this is Steve from Sparky's Garage. Today, well, obviously you can see we're going to be doing some interior upgrades to my E36 BMW. Thanks to the crew at NRG, I placed my order with these parts and they all showed up here right before the Christmas break. So that gives me plenty of time to get these all installed. So hey, let's jump right into this. So here's the interior inside my E36. Just the factory leather seats, console, there's the factory back seat, and there's the dash. Nice fresh grip royal steering wheel, and then we got that NRG quick release, pretty badass. So yeah, we're gonna start off by removing the seats, get them ready for the new ones. So down below here, there's these little covers. You just pop them off, and then these are 16 millimeter. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the passenger seat first. As soon as you get that basically loosened up, down below there's a little harness connector. I'll show you that. You gotta disconnect that, and then we'll get them out. Now that the seat is loose, basically you're just gonna tilt it back, and you'll see down below here, there's the harness, and then there is a few plugs. So let me get them out, and I'll show you which ones they are. So here's this harness. Pretty easy to basically get it off. There's just these little clips. You basically just squeeze them, pull straight back. Same with these two black ones. This one here, pretty much just got to basically pinch it and pulls right off. Same thing with this one. So now it is out of there. We're gonna go ahead and just vacuum everything up. This carpet is super clean for being from 1996. Very nice. I mean, there's a couple little stains, but I mean, very nice carpet. Rear seat, for now, I'm gonna leave it in. Eventually this car will get a rear seat delete because nobody's ever gonna be back there. Yeah. And then now also the next thing we're gonna do is gotta figure out how to get into here, because that harness bar is gonna go basically straight from here behind the seats. So let me get this all cleaned up, and we'll figure out what the next step is. So this is what I've done next. Basically took the rear seat, you just basically put your hand underneath it and pull straight up, and that rear seat cushion comes out. You can see there's a bunch of wiring. It looks like it has stereo in there. Next thing, I just basically started pulling on the panel, and it just relieves itself from underneath that seal. I got it just far enough back to where if I come down here and I push this carpet, I can see the bolt for the seatbelt. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the seatbelt, and then looks like up here there is these two little bolts, and then I can remove the seatbelt from this little holder also, and then the whole seatbelt should be out of the car. We'll lose a little weight, but then we're gonna be adding some more weight back into the car. Man, I was just moving this around. This thing is freaking heavy. Like, this thing's gotta be 50 pounds easy. Yes, it has a seat track on it, but then also there's all the motors and stuff underneath it for all the power. So this is gonna be a huge improvement, removing this thing and getting those NRG seats in here. Maybe a lot more, less weight, definitely less weight. So seatbelt is out. We got the panel all back in. We just have our one stud right here. The other side, I went ahead and just removed the top seatbelt, and now I'm gonna go ahead and hang that harness bar. Now in the kit, it's gonna be a little, whoops, drop one. There's gonna be these little spacers. So you're gonna put a spacer on first, then you put your harness bar on. So yeah, spacer goes on first, then your harness bar. And then I went to the store and got a flat washer and a regular nut. The stock hardware does not seem to work. Okay, so I already kind of jumped around. As you can see, I kind of have my bar installed. Again, what I did is I just pulled this panel, pry it back just a little bit, and then once the rear seat is out, I did show you that one bolt that was back here. Actually, I found an easier way to get access to it. There's this little foam cushion right here. You just pull this off, and look down here, you can get straight access to that bolt. So yeah, you really don't need to pull this 100% back, but you will need to get the loop off of there. But once you do that, you can basically push this door panel back, make sure that the seal is over the edge. It's a little tricky down below here, and then make sure it's up here on the window. But then you can remove all your factory seat belts. Now, to install the harness bar, you can see it goes straight across from this post to that post. Don't mind that piece of wood, I'll explain that in a minute. You can see it attaches right here. There's basically the bolt, the spacer, the Heim joint, another spacer, flat washer, and then the nylon lock. And then down below here, let me see if I can get over here. You can see down below, that's where it's going to go to. So this is the factory section of the where the seatbelt loop is. Basically, going to undo the factory bolt, take out the big piece of plastic spacer they have, and then they're going to use the supplied spacer. So it's a spacer, the Heim joint, a spacer, and then the factory bolt. And that's how the bottom is. And then from that point, you can take these and just turn these bars and it'll adjust it. And then a cheat little way I did this is I just took a piece of flat wood right here, and I took an angle gauge and put an angle gauge on it. So I made this flat, and this right here is 15 degrees going down. And I believe you want to be between 15 to 20. Don't quote me on that. But I'm gonna double check this myself. But yeah, the harness bar was super easy to put in. You can see I started putting the seats in. Make sure you check out the separate video on how to basically get these seats put in one of these E36s, especially with the slide tracks and the factory, sorry, not the factory, the direct bolt-on bases from NRG. But it is looking super nice. I'm gonna go ahead and toss in this other seat, and then we're gonna wrap up this video. All right, there is the done result. Looks beautiful. Again, these are NRG seats. These are the NRG bottom bases, NRG sliders. You can see there is the slider right there, the handle. This looks so good. And then NRG harness bar, also NRG hub adapter, grip royal steering wheel, and this thing is looking killer. Now, one thing is, you can reuse your factory nut here and there. This one here you have to get new hardware for, and then also this bottom one down here you have to get new hardware, and same with the side pillar one, you will have to get new hardware. You can use the hardware supplied with the harness bar, but there is a couple things you will have to change. Man, this is looking killer. Well, we wrapped up our NRG harness bar. Again, make sure to check out the separate video on installing the NRG seats here on my E36. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode.